Welcome, Cincinnati Rotarians and guests and prospective members. We are honored to have the Hamilton County Sheriff's Honor Guard with us, and leading us in the national anthem is Bob Brandstetter.
Please join me.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, see, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Something soothing about that music, and appropriately now we set some time aside to pray. I would like for all of you to also say a special prayer for two Rotarians. Bruce Brandstetter is recovering from a serious surgery, having a tumor removed from his brain and skull. He's doing very well, but he's got a long road of recovery ahead of him. And then also Dr. Charles Pierce's wife's son suffered a stroke this past week in Canada. So Charles's wife, Barbara, has been dispatched there to help out. And as you know, Charles has been facing some health challenges, and so he needs all the help and love he can from Rotarians. If you'd like to help him out, please give him a call, as well as Tony Autry. Carl, will you lead us in prayer and our four-way test?
Let us pray. O God, our help in ages past and our hope for years to come, we invite you to our meeting today. We ask that you bless the food that we eat to nourish our bodies, that we may better serve you. We ask for your healing touch on all that need it in both body and mind and relationships. And especially, Lord, we ask today that you bless the men and women of the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department, that you would give them courage when they need it, to give them calmness when things are not calm, to give them encouragement when things get tough. We ask that you also give comfort to their families, that they may feel safe and secure every day when their family member comes home. We ask also that you give joy and happiness to our officers on and off the job. And may you continue to be with all of us, around us to protect us, before us to guide us, above us to bless us, and beneath us to hold us up. Amen. And now the four-way test of the things we think, say, and do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Seats.
You may be seated. Thank you, Carl. Thank you, Bob, and especially thank you to the Hamilton County Honor Guard. And now, again, to welcome you and our prospective members and guests, please welcome Angie Ferguson. Angie?
Thank you. Welcome, everyone, and thank you to all the men and women in uniform or who would be in uniform for your bravery and the service that you do every single day and night. So it's my honor to announce our guests today. First, we have Jackie Alf with Jurgensen Companies as a guest of Anthony Riccardi. Now we have Giovanna Alvarez with Catholic Charities of Southwest Ohio, a guest of Esteban Calle. Erik Beck is with Hamilton County Engineers, and he is with Anthony Riccardi. And we've got James Buckley, who's with Christ Hospital, a guest of Steve King. We have Jenny Colopy with Christ Hospital as well, guest of Steve King. Kenny Ellis, Cintas, also a guest of Steve King. We've got Bill Hawk with TriHealth, a guest of Steve King. Mark Johnston with Christ Hospital, a guest of Steve King. And Dan Kloppenberg with Cintas, a guest of Steve King. Okay, moving to a different Rotarian who brought people today. Daniel Sorrell is with Catholic Charities of Southwest Ohio, a guest of Esteban Calle. And I lied because we're back to Steve King. We've got Rick Schnipke, who is with Cintas, a guest of Steve King. Lisa Webb with Hamilton County, a guest of Steve King. And Jody Zerby with Christ Hospital, a guest of Steve King. And I'd like to announce Missy Henderson Dieters with Mercy Health. Thank you.
So I'm not Steve King, but I am Doug Bolton, your current president, but there's a good reason why Steve King has so many guests here, and I'm gonna ask Steve, Alexia, and Jack to come on up because we have some announcements about some 3 really, really important projects. Jack, you want to come on up? So Steve King is our past president and sponsor of the day, representing Project Heart Restart. Something that is, yes, very much a big round of applause, very appropriate. Alexia is our leader of our Rotaract program on the University of Cincinnati campus. The health of any region in Rotary is if there is a thriving chapter at the major university. We have that here in Greater Cincinnati, largely because of Alexia's efforts. She's going to talk a little bit about that. And then you all know, we talk about it every single week, but Due Days is coming up quickly, and Jack Estel is going to give us an update. So first, our meeting sponsor, Project Heart Restart's King, Steve King.
Thank you. Hey, thank you, President Doug. Shout out to my committee out there. Thank you so much for being here. It's an exciting update for Project Heart Restart. For anyone not familiar with this effort, this is an effort to raise funds to put AEDs in the hands of our Hamilton County Sheriff's officers. This effort actually began with a phone call just days after Damar Hamlin collapsed during Monday Night Football. I think if we learned anything from that night, it was that cardiac arrest can strike anyone, and when they do, seconds really matter, and AEDs in the hands of trained professionals really matter. And that phone call was actually a follow-up from an invitation from a few weeks prior, an invitation from this club to our friends at Hamilton County Sheriff's Office. It's asking if there was a way we could help. And on that call that day, the command staff had a big idea. They said, would the Rotary Club of Cincinnati help lead and launch an effort to raise $250,000 for 100 AEDs for all of our sheriff's cruisers. And I couldn't think of a better service above self project for this club and a better way to serve this community. In Cincinnati Rotary, we have a saying that we are people of action, but if you really want to get anything done in this club, you better form a committee. And oh boy, do we have a great committee. The committee has just grown big and wide and large, and the talent is deep. And we will have a chance to recognize all of them later in this program, including our donors and our partners. But what I wanted to focus on was the fundraising of this committee. The committee launched its fundraising efforts on July 31st with a press conference. And at that press conference, the Hamilton County Commissioners pledged half the funds, or $125,000 towards the effort. And at that press conference, Debbie Hayes, on behalf of Christ Hospital, pledged $25,000 towards this effort. And since that day, the committee has been on a roll with a huge nod to the healthcare systems who have been so generous to this committee and this effort. I'm excited to announce that just 24 days after our press conference, we have pledges in excess of $250,000. With the discounts from our friends at Cintas, we are going to provide 130 AEDs for all of the sheriff's primary cruisers and their secondary vehicles. And just think of the lives that these devices might save over their 10-year lifespan. Now, with this initial goal complete, Project Heart Restart has turned its attention to connecting with the 45 other extended law enforcement agencies inside Hamilton County. If you would like to be a part of this historic effort, grab a flyer, scan the QR code, donate to Project Heart Restart. This is Rotary, and this is People in Action. Thank you so much.
Wow, I think that deserves another round of applause. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, President Doug, Sheriff McGuffey, and distinguished guests. My name is Alexia Archery, and I'm the president of the University of Cincinnati Rotaract Club. I'm honored to stand here before you today to share some of the incredible initiatives that UC Rotaract Club, a college-level club advised by Club 17, this Rotary Club, dedicated to service and community engagement, has undertaken to make a positive impact on our community. Firstly, a huge thank you to past President Steve King, our current advisor, my mother, Tony Archery, and all Rotarians for your continuous support of the UC Rotaract Club. As you'll see on the screen here, we have some photos of some of our events from the past year. In October of last year, during the Rotary Due Days event, UC Rotaract Club developed the Shelter House Project with the leadership of Barbara Dickerson. At the Esther Marie Hatton Women's Center at Shelter House, 14 volunteers from UC Rotaract, Rotary, and community members worked diligently to cook lunch for over 60 residents. The International Thanksgiving Dinner stands as a testament to our commitment to diversity and unity. By serving over 150 international students from different cultural backgrounds, we celebrated the spirit of togetherness and shared warmth on the holiday season across borders. These are students who would not have been able to go home to their families or have any community really during such a time of togetherness. We thank the World Affairs Committee for making their financial contribution that made this possible. The joy and wonder in the eyes of the students during our holiday zoo trips was truly heartwarming. Taking them to the Festival of Lights at the Cincinnati Zoo was not just a recreational outing, but a chance to kindle the curiosity and inspire them to explore the world around them. Thank you to the multiple Rotarians who contributed to this endeavor. Participation in the UC Club Fair allowed us to showcase our passion and dedication to service. It was a fantastic opportunity to connect with like-minded individuals, share our mission, and encourage other students to join hands with us in making a difference. A huge thank you to the World Affairs Committee and Red Light Table for their amazing financial contributions this year. In all these endeavors, UC Rotaract has demonstrated the power of compassion, collaboration, and community engagement. As we move forward, we are excited to continue to embrace these values and work together to create a brighter and more inclusive future for all. If you're interested in getting involved with the UC Rotaract Club, please contact me or my mom, Tonette Archery. And thank you. I really appreciate you all.
Happy Thursday, everyone. So get ready for a very inspiring and impactful experience. We have our due days, Rotary's due days scheduled for October 26th through the 28th. This is a great opportunity for our club, as well as your family members in our community, to get involved, to make an impact in our community. This is a very large-scale community-focused service, aimed to make a difference, and we need you all to make it happen. So we have currently about 40 partnered projects lined up in the pipelines. However, we need about well over 500 volunteers to support these efforts. So this endeavor requires a strong team like our Rotary Club 17 to rally your family, friends, and colleagues to join hands. So how can you support? Well, we do have a social media platform. As you know how very impactful that is. So please share that information with your network and go on there and support. Also, again, get the word out to your friends and families, colleagues in the community to get involved. This is a great opportunity for us to give back. And for more information, you can visit the CincinnatiRotary.org. On there, visit events, and then select Rotary Due Days. And from there, it'll have 3 days of some amazing projects you can get involved in. Or you can just stop by and see myself and some of our committee members.
All right, thank you, Jack. I feel like I'm back in the news business. There's been so much content. We have so much more content to go. And so now here's your period of relaxation, okay? So let's celebrate. Deborah Schultz has a birthday coming up on Sunday. Happy birthday, Deborah. We also want to remind you about next week's meeting, August 31st, that you need to register to attend by 5 p.m. tomorrow, okay? Make sure that you do that. Coming up soon is next Rotary Happy Hour is September 5th at Brewdog. And then finally, looking a little further ahead, but again, you should register on DACDB as soon as possible because the slots are slipping away. Our annual Rotarians at Work Day is September 14th. This is when we do not meet here at the Phoenix. We go to 6 of your workplaces to be entertained, informed, see the science. One of those visits is to the Cincinnati mortuary school, so that should be really interesting. And you need to, again, sign up for that in DACDB, and the slots, again, are limited, so make sure that you do that right away. All right, so let's give away some money. Pull out your split the pot tickets. Today's pot is $37, and Sheriff, I'm going to ask you to hold the wing ticket. The winning ticket is 299774. 299774. Awesome, all the way back. And you are now, what was that? $642 if you pull the right card. The Queen of Hearts is what we're looking for. Eight of Hearts, so close. And one last announcement is we just breaking news. Bob McElroy is in the hospital right now, suffering with some AFib. So please keep him in your prayers. I'm not sure. Don't have all the details. Sorry, not a great newsman right now, so I can't tell you exactly where he is. So back to our regularly scheduled program. Happy to have Michael Villardo come up here and introduce our program. Michael?
Thank you, President Doug. Welcome, Sheriff. It's good to have you here again this year. I was going to ask ChatGPT to give me a good joke about a sheriff, but Sarah told me I only had 2 minutes, so I have to stay close to the script here. I've introduced the sheriff to you each year for the last 2 years, so I'm not going through all of it. So I've abbreviated. Thank you, she says. Sheriff McGuffey is a lifelong Cincinnatian and a 37-year veteran of the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office. She took office on January 4th, 2021, and is the highest ranking woman in the history of the Hamilton County, Ohio Sheriff's Office. There are many honors that I could mention here. Law Enforcement Officer of the Year in 2016, Public Citizen of the Year, 2013 Cincinnati Enquirer's List, of professional women to watch. 2021, Sheriff McGuffey was recognized by the Cincinnati Business Courier in its Women Who Mean Business event. And in March 2022, she was one of 25 women featured in Cincinnati Magazine's Our Future is Women edition. She is a reformer and an effective leader committed to moving our justice system from one of hard incarceration to one that offers opportunities for rehabilitation. I've been reading a lot about restorative justice recently, and that's right down that alley. Over the past couple of years, she's come under the approved budget for both of those years, and she has focused on community safety, on technology advancements, and on the wellness of her officers. Welcome, Sheriff McGuffey.
Thank you so much, Michael, for that wonderful introduction, and thank you, Steve, for the wonderful overview of Project Heart Restart. We are grateful as the Sheriff's Office to be honored to engage with the Rotary Club. And we do have officers here, deputies, supervisors, who are going to be recognized with specific awards that the Rotary Club has chosen us for and asked us to present. And, we're going to get on with that in just a moment, but I would like to say that we do have a command staff presence here. Our command staff from the Sheriff's Office is also here, and I am told they have all signed up for the Rotary Due Days. Yay! Now, okay. That was all volunteer. So, before we get started, I want to acknowledge the Project Heart Restart. As Stephen King mentioned, this started with a simple phone call. And when I took this office of sheriff, one of the goals that I had, and the goal that is shared by the command staff, is that we engage with businesses of Cincinnati, with agencies in Cincinnati, with clubs and people who have a stake in what the outcomes are for our city and our county. And certainly when the Rotary Club approached us, I mean, we were absolutely thrilled. And they, of course, have engaged with us for many years. But this time, they said, let's go a little farther. What can we help you with? And, you know, we had an answer pretty much right away, because that is a need. It wasn't a want that we had, y'all. It was a need, because we knew that AEDs, which are the machines that can restart that heart if there is a cardiac arrest, and the deputies in our patrol divisions, who are oftentimes there before the first responders get there for medical reasons, we're there first. And our officers now can go to the trunk of their car and get out something that will restart that heart and restart it in a way that has excellent outcomes. And you know, that's a game changer. And we talked about how many of those there are needed, because we have a lot of patrol cars and deputies and so forth that need these. And so we said, well, that's a pretty big cost. As you know, the county pitched in, and then the Rotary Club took over, and with partnerships, and I'm telling you, 5 months ago they called us, and it is just within this month that we have this amazing effort and outcome. You know, people talk about the speed of government. This is way accelerated. Okay, way. Thank you for that. Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, seriously, that is some great outcome with speed. And, you know, I want to say that I'm very grateful for the support of all the business leaders and the initiatives that they bring forward. And, you know, I will say that the safety of our community, the safety of our officers, the safety of those who are incarcerated is our utmost goal, and that is what we strive for every day. Now, you know, this important initiative will help us save lives, and certainly every one of our deputies will be equipped to do their job in a much more effective way because of this effort. And you know, the cardiac events happen. I gave a number out when I talked about it initially at a press conference, and it was thousands, y'all, of people who over a year's period could experience a cardiac arrest. And you know, now we are going to change. We're going to change those outcomes with this effort. And in saying that, I would like to acknowledge the agencies who came forth to bring this to fruition, and I'd like you to please stand as I recognize you. First, the Project Heart Restart Planning Committee. Please stand. Here we go. Thank you. Look at that. I love that. And I was told those meetings started at like 7 a.m. Is that right? Whew. Okay. The Hamilton County Commissioners were a huge part of making this happen. Lisa, thank you for representing. Cincinnati Children's Hospital came to the table to help us get this done. Cincinnati Children's. Thank you, Cincinnati Children's. I'm standing for them. So, Cintas. Cintas has helped us. Thank you. Thank you so much. The Christ Hospital Health Network is also, thank you for your partnership. Mercy Health as well. Tri-Health. And UC Health. Donors from the Rotary Club of Cincinnati. All of you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. So you have our gratitude from the entire Sheriff's Office, and certainly it is heartfelt. Oh, and when I say that, see, I'm going to put this heart, right? I'm so proud to wear this heart on my tie. I will pin it on there. and wear that very proudly for all of your efforts. I really appreciate it. And I now want to recognize the deputies who have received awards today. They're here, they've brought their families and so forth, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about them, who they are, what particularly they did to achieve this award. And the first one is Agency Achievement Award. Agency Achievement Award goes to Teresa Boyle. Teresa, here in front of us. She doesn't have to come up for the whole thing. Is that better? But I want to tell you about Teresa. You know, you guys, I've known Teresa for so many years and years, right? And she has a tenure of 28 years in our department. And here's what I want to note to you. You know, 30 years is the mark just about when we retire, right? When we say, okay. And sometimes people, when they get kind of close to that 30, they're like, I think I'll take a vacation, you know? I think I'll, you know, just kind of hang out a bit and relax. Not Teresa. Teresa is a tenured employee who not only did she not slow down as she's getting to that point in her life where she gets to enjoy other things, she accelerated. She not only accelerated, she took on a project that, I am not kidding you, we have been trying to get done for at least 10 years. And that is to switch our payment methods. Teresa is a payroll manager, all right, which we all know how important payroll is, right? And she's a payroll manager for 900 employees. That's a lot, and she does a lot. There isn't a question you can ask her that she doesn't know, particularly about payroll, right? And she is, I tell you what, a hard worker. She is assisting on a project that we moved to a company called Paycor, so that we could not only, you know, pay our people on time and well, but also, you know, vacation, tracking that, and tracking off time, and all those things that occur in business. And, you know, there were some difficult and frustrating challenges, which is why it didn't get done for more than 10 years. But Teresa took that on, and she said, you know what, I'm going to push this through and I'm going to make it happen. And, you know, she maintained two separate phases of attendance and payroll process. And, you know, as she was managing that, she not only managed it, but understood the importance of implementation. And that's the end goal, right? Because a lot of people can take on a project and they kind of just never really get it to the finish line for lots of different reasons. Teresa pushed that over the finish line and more, and we are now so proud and happy to have, and every employee is glad to have Paycor working and up and running for us. She has continually impressed us with her job knowledge, and her completed tasks are just so many, you know, that I can't even. And beyond that, I will tell you, knowing Teresa, she's a wonderful person and a very pleasant personality at work. I tell you, whenever I've come over there, she's always a smile. How can I help you? And that's 28 years of that, so excellent. So Teresa, if you'll please step up. Congratulations. Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, let's get a pic. Okay. Yeah, right here.
There's always one more time. Thank you. Anyone that knows me knows I hate talking in front of a bunch of people. So I'm going to keep this plain and simple. I couldn't have done this without the help of my office and my Captain Jeff Carroll. There's no way it could have been done without everyone helping us and without so many understanding people that would call and go, I know you're busy, Teresa, but can you? So thank you very much for this award. I greatly appreciate it.
So well. Next, the award for administrative excellence. And this award goes to Sergeant Robin Reid. She's seated here in front of me. And, you know, Sergeant Reid began her career some 23 years ago, thereabouts. She came on in 1999. She has worked our road patrol and many other functions out at our road patrol. And then in 2020, she was promoted to sergeant. When she was promoted to sergeant, she became the second in command at Silverton and Columbia Township, right? And, you know, I gotta tell you, Sergeant Reid is, not only is she a team player, but she is a personable supervisor, an excellent boss, and somebody who relates to the people she works with. And, you know, we say that about deputies and police officers, but I want to give you some examples of the things that Robin Reid does in this arena. You know, some of the citizens in Silverton, well, some have special needs, just like other places, right? But Robin Reid takes a special interest in those special needs people. There's a particular guy that she's engaged with, and he has autism. And she makes it a point to go over there and visit him, right, at his residence, and provide coloring books and other items that he finds very special. And you know, that's a way of creating that bond that we have with the citizens of Hamilton County. And she makes her officers feel special because on their birthdays, she celebrates it, right? And that's with cupcakes and buys them lunch. Wow, I haven't bought lunch in a while, but I gotta up my game. But seriously, when Sergeant Reid, and this is a program that's really close to my heart, that she took on with a very great deal of interest and has really worked hard with, and that's the DIVERT program. DIVERT is when we arrive on a domestic violence scene and we know that typically a woman needs help. And we call Women Helping Women. We call the people that are designated to come out and help these women and see that through. And she is a huge part of that initial contact. And I just have to say that program is such a success in helping these victims of violence. Sergeant Reid accepted additional responsibilities along with all of the other responsibilities she had, because at times it's necessary for her to be the commander of this district, right? And she has been the commander. And when I say commander, that's here, you know? She's not she's not calling on the phone asking somebody what to do. She has command of the entire township. And she does such a great job with that. I tell you, the deputies have great things to say about her, as do I. The other thing I want to note to you too is when she sees a need, she fills it. There was a need for elderly people to have those car locks on their steering wheels because there was some theft going on. So, you know, not just going out and telling people, hey, you could go to the store and get this and this is what you need. No, no, no. She went to Kia Motors and said, we need these wheel locks and they need to be free. And we need to give them out to the elderly. And that is exactly what happened. So I gotta tell you, that's, wow. She's a true leader, and I tell you, I'm so proud. I'm so proud to have her be part of our department. And Sergeant Robert Reid Award for Administrative Excellence. Thank you. That's Robin's husband, who's had a great tenure with our department as well.
I would just like to say it's a pleasure to be here. Unlike Teresa, I'm not embarrassed to speak in front of a large group of people. First of all, I would like to thank my lieutenant for nominating me for this award. Lieutenant Neighbor, thank you very much. Anyone that knows me knows that I am very passionate about community involvement. It's very important to me, as well as providing a positive and supportive work environment for the men and women that work for us at our district. So to receive an award for doing the things that I love and that are dear to my heart I'm just honored. So thank you all. Thank you very much.
This next award is Superior Achievement Award, and this Superior Achievement Award is very special in the way that Sergeant Erik Pfaffl has earned it. And you know, what I'm gonna do is tell you the story of what happened and what unfolded, and that Sergeant Pfaffl was the first responder who actually did the absolute best he could with a situation that is very heartbreaking, quite frankly. So July 10th, 2023, the deputies were dispatched to a shots fired on Plainfield Road in Silverton. This was the situation, I'm sure many of you have heard, where the house was shot at from the street. Some 30 rounds hit the building, hit the house in the evening there. And Sergeant Pfaffl and the first officers were met at the door when they arrived by a young female juvenile who was screaming for help, and let them know that another child had been shot. Within the minutes of entering the home, Sergeant Pfaffl began CPR on this young girl who was the gunshot victim, Demaya Pickens Barton. She was just 9 years old, and Sergeant Pfaffl began CPR, life-saving measures immediately, while the other deputies rendered the house safe. And, you know, he continued giving directions and so forth until EMS arrived, even as he was rendering care. After EMS was there rendering care, he took over, and in less than 6 minutes, they had the house secured, they had the scene secured, and they were working on the other aspects of getting the victims to where they needed to be. There was still a lot more to be done, and I'll tell you, within the next minute, Sergeant Pfaffl directed and participated to make additional sweeps for threats. They got the K-9 there for the assistance, because remember, when these guys show up, they have no idea what happened. They know someone has been, you know, severely injured. You have relatives in the home, and you can imagine how chaotic that is, and just the screaming and the upsetness and the trauma that these deputies run into and have to very immediately take control. And I want to remind you that as he's taking control of that scene, he's not just thinking, okay, what to do next. He's thinking, what will be the outcome? How will we get the people that did this? How can I best preserve evidence? What are the questions that are going to be asked when this thing gets calmed down, when we're able to get back to the questions of what happened? He has to think of all of the things that every one of his men and women are doing in this arena to make sure they're the most effective. And, you know, he's doing that in just a moment's notice. So within 13 minutes, they had this scene under control. They had it locked down. They had it secured. And, you know, because of his efforts, because of the way that he was able to secure that scene, get the information that he needed, there were 3 men, y'all, who were involved in this crime, all right? And they were shooting from a car, a moving car. They were shooting an assault weapon. And to get these men in custody was no small deal, and we did it in 3 days. 3 days. In large part because of Sergeant Pfaffl's efforts and the efforts of the men and women he commanded. And, you know, we now honor the life of Demaya Pickens Barton, just a 9-year-old who really was just living her life. I mean, most tragic. And, you know, I tell you, when people talk about first responders, and some people criticize, they do, in our United States, there's criticism. Some of it, you know, officers have done things that they shouldn't have done. But I will tell you, this is an example of 95% of the work that our officers do, that our first responders do, they run in. They run towards trauma. They experience that. And, you know, you have to live with that. That's the rest of your life, right? But we give it because we swore to do that and because it's a calling. And I tell people that all the time. Every one of these people here in uniform who work for the sheriff's office have had a calling and they've answered it. And I'm very, very proud to present this award to Sergeant Erik Pfaffl, Superior Achievement Award.
Thank you. Just to start with a bit of humor, the last time I had to give any kind of speech or anything was during my promotion ceremony. And I think I thanked everybody in the room except for my wife and family, so that did not go over well. So Lisa, thank you. Thank you to the... But thank you very much. My family's put up with a lot over the years, shifts, call-outs, different things, situations like this. Thank you to the Rotarians here. I really appreciate this very much. I appreciate it not only for myself, but just for the agency. We need the support of people like you. We do. Sometimes the noise can be loud. So it's moments like these that we really do appreciate the support of our community members and the support towards law enforcement. So thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. I want to thank Lieutenant Neighbor for nominating me for this award, the sheriff, the chief, the rest of the administration and command staff that are here. I appreciate it very much. You know, moments like these in our careers, they're terrible. There's no, getting around it. It was a terrible situation. Really worry about my people when it comes to incidents like these. This is probably one of the worst things that they're ever going to be involved in, ever going to see. They'll never forget it. It'll always be with them. That little girl will be with them when they're long retired. And I really appreciate the wellness team within our agency that has really invested in each and every one of those since this moment to make sure that that trauma is minimized and that they don't have the negative effects of seeing and being involved in things like this, because at the end of the day it's just a terrible situation. So again, thank you very, very much for having us here, and thank you for this award.
In closing, thank you so very much. I would like to recognize Tri-Health. Are they here? Tri-Health. As I went down the road, there you are. Hi, Tri-Health. Tri-Health has been a big part of this effort for the AEDs. So again, thank you so much for your attention. I will render the stage back to you, Michael. Thank you.
So, Sheriff, as we do with all of our speakers, we present to you a coin that has the four-way test on one side and our beautiful skyline on the other. So a very modest token of our appreciation for speaking today and presenting the awards. Also, as all of the Rotarians know, we very much, under Michael Velardo's leadership, appreciate recognizing our workers in this community who are doing incredible work but do not get recognized often enough. So sheriff, police, fire, teachers, and that group of agencies annually receives a donation from the Rotary Foundation. Jim Brooks, your foundation president, couldn't be here today to present the check, as he normally does. So here is that check for, again, a very modest amount, but again, our grateful appreciation for everything you do in our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. We very much appreciate it. I tell you, all of the amounts that people donate to this department, we make sure we give that back twofold. Thank you.
So with all of these healthcare leaders, I can't help but to place the idea of, you heard me say police, fire, of course sheriff, teacher recognition. There's at least one group in this community that we have not figured out an annual recognition for, and it's healthcare. So we'd love to brainstorm with those healthcare leaders in the room about what's missing in your field in terms of a way that the Rotary Club could recognize your industry. Again, thank you for everybody being here. Congratulations to our honorees. Honorees and your families, if you would exit through that door and go straight, there's a room where we would like to get pictures of all of you along with the sheriff to conclude today's meeting. Again, don't forget to register for next week's meeting by 5 o'clock tomorrow. And as all of you hopefully are beginning to understand, our Rotary International theme is to create hope in the world. All of you in the Sheriff's Department here with us today, thank you for the hope that you're creating in the world. Project Heart Restart King, Steve King, and all of his committee and all of those healthcare leaders, thank you for the hope that you are creating in the world. Alexia, thank you so much for your leadership on campus. It is so important. Again, it is a hallmark of any city that has a thriving Rotary chapter on its major university, and you're doing that here. And then finally, Linda Muth's leadership, along with a large committee, Jack Estel's work on due days. It is a signature project that every Rotary Club in the world is looking at. Sarah Pattison, our executive director, is going to lead a session at the Large Club Conference coming up because everyone wants to know, how do you guys do that? How are you putting that together? And we, again, like Project Heart Restart, are going to become a leader in this field with that particular project. So thank you, Linda, for all of your work there. Again, all of you, go out, create hope in the world, make it a great day. Meeting adjourned.